We've got another good race coming up here. It's Reabs versus fslynx. These are two very good runners. Reabs has a 41, and fslynx has a 42, so they're very close in terms of skill. We'll see what happens. As they travel through World 1, I'm going to take a peek at how these runners got where they are. So Reabs ended up losing in an upset to Jake, and that brought him down to the lower bracket, where he beat Kolthor the Barbarian, and is now up against Lynx. Lynx, on the other hand, won against Paco, and then lost to Otterlynx immediately afterwards, and then fought his way through Xander, and is now fighting Reabs. So we'll see how this all works out. Goodness gracious. Alright, so Reabs is finished with Crow. Lynx right behind him. So that's World 1 out of the way. World 2 is the same as World 1. A lot of wrong warps and regular warps. Wrong warp coming up in 2-1 right here. Reabs actually does not get the clash, and so has to play through it normally. That should put Lynx in the lead. Again, it's a very small lead. You can't. It's hard to get a big lead in Worlds 1 and 2. Oh, fslynx does have a small misstep with the big boy, getting it second throw instead of first. But Reabs also gets it second throw, so it's a tie. I don't know if Lava Lagoon counts as a Dixie platforming level. It's not long enough to be a full level. Yeah, the next big thing is Cleaver. These next two levels are relatively straightforward, but Cleaver has potential to die, and so that can definitely flip things around here with the lava fly. You imagine both runners will be going for it. And usually you get it, but we've seen enough people miss the lava fly that we shouldn't be too surprised if one of them does. Hopefully it goes swimmingly for both. Lynx also jumps on the sword, does not fall into the lava. That's another thing we've seen. Reabs right behind him. Lava fly for fslynx here. Makes it. Now it's Reabs' turn. also makes it. So pretty good fight so far. fslynx decides to make money at the end, pick up some coins. No flying Diddy from either side, but that's fine. That's fine. Everything is fine. Coming into Barrel Bayou, this is kind of a fun stage just because you get to charge through most of it with Rambead. It's a little bit tricky to get over this first barrel. If you don't jump immediately, if you jump too soon, you don't charge, and if you jump too late, then you run into the barrel. So that small hiccup actually cost Lynx the lead. But again, it's not a big deal. Both players throwing into the barrel to set up for the Swamp Fly damage boost that you see right here on Reabs' screen. You want to get this banana just below and to the right of the G. I mean, ideally you'd get the G as well, so good stuff from Reabs. The G doesn't matter though, except for the swag. If you want to get swag, you can only spell it with G. So you gotta get it. Glimmers. So these runners are actually close enough in Glimmers that you might be able to catch the subtle differences if either runner performs better or worse than the other. Lynx loses a Kong, which is not a big deal. If you lose one Kong, it's not that big a deal at all, because at the end of the level, you're going to want to switch to Diddy anyway. So unless he was planning on doing the goal swap at the end, that's hardly a time loss. There's a little bit of discomfort playing as Diddy instead of Dixie here, but it's not a big deal. Did see Reabs go for the goal swap and get it. That one's tricky because if you go too far to the right, you get the fanfare, and if you go too far to the left, you hit the porcupine, and you're dead. It's not good. Crockhead Clamber here, one of the harder stages. A lot of these swamp type levels are very difficult. They're very small platforms that often have boxes on them for you to grab instead of going fast. A lot of precise rolls that kill you if you miss them. Ooh. I believe that's called the RP jump or something. But Lynx unfortunately does not get it, so loses Diddy, has to go through this section as Dixie, and swap to Diddy at the end. You do want to be playing as Diddy for as much as possible in most of these stages, because Diddy is faster. Another small hiccup from Lynx, but not taking a dive into the swamp, so it's all good. Everything is fine. Rattle Battle. We have hot new emotes for Rattle Battle now, in addition to the classic OS Komodo. So feel free to spam your emote of choice, or all three of your emotes of choice. You can even spam the spider emote if you want. It's fine. Mostly you're going to be jumping. You're going to want to be jumping here because Radley moves faster in the air than he does on the ground. Reabs takes a hit there. It's not the biggest deal if you don't die. There's a DK barrel right at the end of the level. Oh. Looks like Lynx is also taking a bunch of hits. Radley's hitbox isn't that weird. It's not as weird as people make it sound, but it's a little bit weird, so you can see them getting hit every now and then. Reabs swaps Kongs under the water in Slime Climb to set up this super jump right here. That jump will allow him to do the wrong warp that's coming up. And of course, Lynx right behind him. Reabs is out. Now Lynx gets shot. Both players make it through. It always sucks when a race is won or lost from Slime Climb. It's a necessary trick, but it's also, I don't know, it's too punishing if you miss it, in my opinion. It's possibly the most punishing trick to miss in the game, except Castle Crash. But nobody misses Castle Crash. Reabs is coming up on the vine clip. You do a big boy jump and throw your Kong and clip the vine just like that. Lynx's turn now. Does not quite get it. I feel like he got high enough there, maybe not quite far enough to the left. I don't know. Fortunately, doesn't lose a Kong, and so can do the backup strat to avoid that huge barrel maze. Reabs is not doing quick hits on Cudgel, which surprises me a little bit. I'm not sure if he normally does them and if this is just a race strat or if he just doesn't do them in general. Not a required piece of tech for like any level of run, unless you're going crazy. You could probably still get the world record without doing the quick hits. Just not easy. Neither player is doing quick hits. Okay. Hey, that boss, I don't know. Kind of a cutscene. Unless you're doing the quick hits, then it's pretty intense. But Reabs is out. Reabs actually, Exile, I can't really read his, I think it says 1340 something. Whereas Lynx leaves at a 1405-ish. So about 25 seconds difference. Still a very close race. Reabs is setting up for the scrolly scroll, which is a fun trick to watch. Fun trick to get to. A very unfun trick if you screw it up. But you do need squitters for that. Lynx having his go at the scrolly scroll. also nailing it. And the intentional damage boost. The intentional damage boost is intentional, is sort of what I was going to say there, but that's good stuff. Lynx actually does not grab the DK barrel climbing up that honey, which is a small time loss. Ideally, you would do a goal swap at the end of Hornet Hole, but if you don't have 2 Kongs, you can't do it, so... Opting to get the DK barrel right at the start of target terror, which technically isn't the fastest backup barrel to get, but it's obviously the safest one. Safety strats are just always having 2 Kongs at all points in time. So even if you're losing a little bit of time, it's all good. The few things you can do in this level are basically jump from one cart to the next as fast as possible. So jumping as early as possible without actually jumping too early. And then there's flitters coming up. I think you'll see one on Lynx's screen right here. You can not jump on that one. Lynx did jump on it, but you can skip it and that saves time. But also the one that Reabs just did there, where there's 2 flitters and you can jump on the first one and then over the second one to save small amounts of time. Reabs also not getting the swag balloon, which is important to point out because that's the only thing anybody cares about. Reabs now doing the Brambler. You do get the swag balloon from Lynx. So we are 1 Brambler wrong warp between the 2 runners right now. A little bit more. See how Lynx does here. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Looks clean. Excellent. Fantastic. So in Rickety Race, you go fast by actually holding left on a stage that you want to move right on. It's counterintuitive, but if you hold left, you go back, you get the booster. And then once you grab the booster, then you start holding right. And then you win, mostly. Just got to make sure you don't fall in these pits. And the hardest pits to avoid are the ones with the number 2 enemy. That guy is a jerk. Usually this level isn't a problem for most people though. Number 2 guy is coming up for Lynx. Gets him. It's all good now, in the clear. Reabs is moving into Mudhole Marsh, which is a level that can cause a lead change. We've seen it before. We'll see it again. This one has precision platforming, particularly in this Eagle Pit coming up right here. And then it also has a wrong warp that isn't necessarily the easiest. Small hiccup from Reabs right at the end of that. But you can get this DK barrel right here. There's a lot of DK barrels hidden in treasure chests. Just have to know which ones are in it. Reabs needs this cannonball to do the wrong warp. Oh no. Lynx takes a dive in that Eagle Pit. Those rolls are not easy in any sense of the word. Reabs is out, nails the wrong warp. So we did see a death. It wasn't the death we needed to have the race become closer though. Reabs is doing the big boy right here, trying to get the thing. Oh, no. So that's another example. So all those small islands with treasure chests on them, you might think it doesn't look that hard, but you're almost always holding the Y button in this speed run. And if you hold the Y button there, you grab the chest. So that having the chest in the center of that island makes it way smaller an area that you can actually land on. Because if you land in the center of it, you'll grab the treasure chest and die. So very difficult. That's not just about landing on those platforms. It's about landing on a precise part of those platforms. But Lynx is through and moving on towards the wrong warp. That does put Reabs a full Arambi Rumble ahead. So the gap is growing, but it's not insurmountable. Not even close. King Zingsting is a cool guy. He's pretty chill. Lynx nails the big boy. Reabs also got the B-skip here. Lynx does not. Also doesn't get the damage boost from it. I don't know why that doesn't happen sometimes. He's just finishing up with King Zingsting. At about 22 minutes exactly. I think his timer says 21:59. Which is a very good time, goodness gracious. So as Lynx moves into King Zing, we've got Ghostly Grove on Reabs' screen. This level is kind of fun because it's sort of an intermediate platforming. There's nothing too difficult here, but there are some rolls that are a little bit risky. But because they're not the most difficult thing, you can. This is a good level to sort of get back in your rhythm if you've had a rough World 4. Because you can nail the optimal strats without too much of a problem. Reabs goes for front ropes there, which is probably the hardest trick in that level. Does take a hit there, but does not fall in the pit. Very important. That's not the biggest time loss either. You have to start Gusty Glade as Dixie, but both Dixie and Diddy are the same speed in Haunted Hall. So Lynx finishes at about 23:15, so little over a minute is separating the two runners. Yeah, Haunted Hall is mostly just an auto-scroller. There's some things you can do to go faster, but we've talked about it before. And I don't feel like talking about it right now. Oh dear. Lynx takes a hit against those clamp-ons. You can, if you roll at the right time, you can roll through them. Normally you're not supposed to be able to roll through that enemy, but if you roll at just the right time, you can. And he did it for the first clamp on, but I guess the second guy had other plans. So both runners had to finish Ghostly Grove as Dixie. But again, not the biggest deal. Okay, Reabs is through. Coming into Gusty Glade now. There's some more precision rolling. Again, just like Ghostly Grove, not the most precise rolling in the game, but this one is complicated by the wind mechanic that can throw you off your game. This pillars section is also a little bit tricky to navigate, but Reabs gets through fine. Reabs also opts to grab the save barrel there, whereas the optimal route does not grab the save barrel. Apparently it's not the biggest time loss though, so well worth the investment. Make sure you don't completely lose the run if you end up dying close to the end of the stage. Solid finish from Reabs, who moves into PCP. Whereas Lynx is still auto-scrolling. I think Haunted Hall might be one of the longer levels in the game. I don't know how long it is, but PCP is a fun stage to watch because you get to see people zipping through all of these sections very quickly. Unfortunately, Reabs does lose a Kong in one of the worst places to lose a Kong, depending on which strats you know, / which strats you're comfortable going with. So he has to ride that one parrot a long way, which gives room for Lynx to catch up. But that's only the first step for Lynx. Web Woods here is another level, though, that can cause serious problems for certain runners. Mostly depending on the day. Everybody has a bad Web Woods sometimes. Reabs makes it to halfway just fine. Okay, so Lynx took damage in the same spot as Reabs did, but Lynx's strats, that damage is required. So he did that on purpose, and as a result ended up getting the DK barrel right after, whereas Reabs wasn't expecting to get hit and couldn't grab the DK barrel. So Lynx catches up a little bit based on PCP. But Reabs is having a very clean Web Woods. Well done by Reabs, who moves into Crow 2. PCP is Parrot Shoot Panic, if you're asking in chat. So Crow 2 is mostly just about hitting the one living crow and not the ghost crows, and then hitting Ghost Crow, the Ghost Crow boss, I guess, with the barrels that spawn. It's a pretty scripted fight, except for the rope climbing sections, where the best runners will climb the ropes extremely fast, and most other runners will just sort of make sure they don't get hit. Lynx nails that last damage boost in Web Woods. So far, so good. Oh, that jump scared me a little bit. He's through, so both runners having a good Web Woods. Reabs is in Arctic now, which is the level that demonstrates why the swordfish is so bad. Is this the only level you play as the swordfish? No, clappers you play a little bit. Okay, okay. But sometimes you take damage where you have no business taking damage. Reabs is not having bad luck, though. Makes it through very cleanly. He took one bit of damage, but there was a DK barrel right afterwards. Solid level from him. And Lynx is done with the crow. So the lead still remains for Reabs, and there are fewer and fewer levels, which means there's less and less opportunities for Lynx to catch up. But the levels also get harder and harder, and so the odds of him catching up on a per level basis is actually increasing. Windy Well is another stage with the wind mechanic, except the wind is going up. So it pushes you up the stage. Pretty much an auto-scroller, except you can hold up on the D-pad to go a little bit faster. And there are certain sections where you can skip wind cycles. And other shenanigans, like what Reabs just did there, taking damage to boost through one section of the level. Reabs will probably also attempt Ghetto Bees. Yeah, goes for it. It's all good. Oh. Lynx takes a little bit of damage at the end. It looks like there's some manipulation you have to do, some specific movements at the end of Arctic Abyss in order to be able to hit the target underwater without getting the fanfare. And it looks like Lynx screwed up that movement a little bit, but recognized that he did, and so instead of hitting the target, actually waited in order to make sure he doesn't get the fanfare at the end. He also does take damage going for a E-skip. Not the biggest deal, but his Kong order is a little bit different now. That's pretty much all that means, because there is a DK barrel coming up at the halfway point. Oh, and you can see he immediately swaps to Dixie, which isn't exactly necessary, but having the right Kongs at the right time is more of a comfort thing on this level. Oh, takes another hit on a random bee. In this section, you can just stick to the left and you don't take any damage, but that was unfortunate. And so now Lynx, oh dear. Yeah, he's looking very uncomfortable with that. Unfortunate death. Probably made the right choice by not going for Ghetto Bees, but yeah, even the safe stuff didn't pay off. So now Reabs is actually a full Castle Crush ahead, and Castle Crush is a pretty long level, but he is in Clapper's Cavern now, so you do see the swordfish again, very briefly, on a level where the hitbox doesn't really matter. So nobody complains about the swordfish in this level. There's an invincibility barrel right here. You throw Dixie at it, and then that can make you invincible till the very end of the level if your movement is smooth enough. Alright, Lynx makes it out in the end. and moves into Castle Crush to auto-scroll. Reabs is doing Chain Link Chamber, which has a wrong warp in it, a necessary wrong warp, and it's definitely one that can be screwed up. So this is one of Lynx's last chances to get back into the race. Reabs gets the clash and gets the wrong warp, so he's out. So Reabs is in Toxic Tower now, and I imagine he'll be doing at least the short hop double jump route. You'll either see him take damage at the top of this, and looks like he is taking damage, so he's not going for the Omega jump route, which is slightly faster, but if you don't know how to do Omega jumps, then obviously you don't do the strat. So a very clean Radley section for Reabs. Moving into the Parrot section, as Lynx gets the Castle Crush skip. Reabs opts to take the damage boost there, which is the fastest way to do the level, but it's also very dangerous. That was a pretty textbook Toxic Tower from Reabs. No real problems. fslynx bumps into the pinkish dude. What's that guy's name? Crusher. Turns him red. Gets very angry. So Lynx rolls to the exit. Reabs is also opting not to grab that DK barrel. You don't need to grab it, and you can get the DK barrel later after you've transformed into Squawks, aka Eduardo, apparently. And if you grab the barrel as Eduardo, I can't say Eduardo, any Eduardo, they're all the same, then you actually don't have any animation, you just get the Kong. So it's always fastest to get a DK barrel as an animal companion. And that's what Reabs is doing there instead of getting it right at the start. Reabs does take damage though, so has to play this last section a little bit carefully. He's through. Lynx having a pretty good Bradley section, Eduardo section of Toxic Tower. Now moving into the Eduardo section. See how he does. There's lots of Eduardo at the end of the game. Lynx up in 4. Turns out your donkey is in another castle, so you gotta go into the Flying Croc. Lynx almost thought he had it, but there's a whole nother world left. So because Lynx did not take the damage boost in Toxic Tower, he actually has 2 Kongs and doesn't need the DK Barrel. Which is safer, but no faster than what Reabs did. Solid race skip. To hear the Stickerbush Symphony. Oh, Reabs is doing the TAS strats there. Apparently the TAS tanks the smoke right as it comes out of the gun for the ice section. And then if you spam out fast enough, apparently that makes K. Rool move faster than if you were to dodge the smoke or do something else. I can't actually tell if he was successful on that or not, because I don't actually know how long he delays before he starts moving, but cool to see nonetheless, and he didn't lose any Kongs as a result. Astrat doesn't save anything. Okay. You heard it from Void, who doesn't even read the wiki. But this is the last hit for Reabs. So unless the power goes out, that's pretty much game. Reabs does finish up. Got Duns. First place with a 42-11. Should be noted that the Juice joined this race. That's like a side competitor. And Juice hasn't finished either. So Reabs cutting the Juice. See if we can chat with Reabs for a sec. Reabs had a very solid run there. He's about 20 seconds off of his PB. And his PB is very good, so yeah, that's definitely a run where you could even win the tournament with that. Lynx misses a throw, but recovers, doesn't drop a cycle. Do we have Reabs in here? Hello, Reabs? Yes, no? Maybe? I don't know. Can you repeat the... Blue Diddy. Shoutouts to Blue Diddy.
Hello.
Hi, Reabs.
Hey.
Congratulations on your victory.
Thank you, thank you.
How do you feel about the run?
I feel pretty damn good.
That was a very good run. You was less than 20 seconds from your PB? Is that?
Yeah, about 15.
Very nice. Very nice. Any thoughts on what went well and what didn't? Or basically, why didn't you get a PB, I guess?
I don't know, there was just like a couple tiny mistakes really that ended up like costing me over the course of the run. Like nothing huge that I can think of.
Yeah, it was very solid. Very solid. And Lynx does finish up with a 44-42 SRL time, so good race from him too. But yeah, that was a very good run. I can't really think of too much I noticed either. You get fakeless?
I did get fakeless, actually.
Oh, there we go. That's why it was so close, right?
That is exactly why it was close.
The only reason it wasn't a World 1 Infinite. Good. So you had a rough start.
I did make a kind of big mistake. I missed the 2-1 wrong warp.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
So that's like 10 seconds right there.
Yeah. That must have been the biggest mistake then.
That was for sure the biggest mistake. Yeah, everything else was probably only a second or two.
Yeah, losing a Kong here and there, for example, but
yeah, I lost a Kong at the end of Ghostly Grove, like before the minecart stage.
Yeah, and then in Mudhole as well, just at the halfway point.
Oh yeah, yeah, I did. So yeah, but both of those are really tiny because they're like right towards the end. And the Mudhole one, you get another Kong right away.
Yeah, not the biggest deal. So you had a relatively rough start to the tournament, I think. Being upset by Jake.
Yep.
But you're here now. This is your only. Oh no, you also played against Kolthor. Okay. So your next match, you're up against Eason. Sometimes you wonder how that happens. How you feeling about that match? You guys, that's got to be a close one.
I'm hoping I can do as well as I just did now during that match.
Yeah, that'll give you a good shot.
We have fairly close PBs, so if we both do good, it should be a really exciting race.
Yeah. How do you feel you are consistency-wise? Like when you do runs, what's your average time? Or is your average time usually a reset?
Well, actually, since the tournament started, I've been doing nothing but no resets. According to my live split, my average time is a 43:35.
Okay.
So, I mean, my average time is about a minute to a minute and a half slower than my PB.
Yeah, that's not bad. Not bad at all.
Yeah, I actually think I don't race as much in DKC2 as I do did in Mega Man X and Zelda. So I kind of think I do a bit worse during DKC2 races, just because I don't have like a lot of experience.
Right. Right. Okay. I think we're probably going to move on though. Thanks for the race.
No problems. GG.
So definitely give both of the runners a follow. That's going to be Reabs and fslynx1 ! Runners in chat. But coming up at 10 o'clock, so in 4 minutes, is more Super Metroid 100%. So I think we'll hop off for now, and there will be more Donkey tomorrow, and then later on in the week as well.
All right, looking forward to it. Bye, all.
Have a good one, everybody.